My name is Jonathan Schiefer. I am the writer-director of Algorithm. Algorithm is a movie about computer hackers. It's a techno-thriller. Gonna knock your socks off, if you wear socks. The movie is the story of a computer hacker who discovers a government program that monitors everything everyone does, and he and his friends fight back to shut it down.
Breaking into top-secret government computer systems and copying files? They call that terrorism nowadays. At which point the laws have been getting a bit hazy.
I'm Chris Panzera, and I'm playing Will. Through past traumatic experiences, he's been sort of forced to be detached from human contact, and his only contact with the world that he knows is through computers. And he learned a lot, and everything there is to know, things that I don't understand myself. Enough to be able to get himself to a position where he was very powerful and wanted.
Too many people are getting hurt.
If people knew about this, finish this. It's not about you anymore.
So we watch him take this journey where he gets himself in a lot of trouble and gets his friends in a lot of trouble. And you see this arc of where Will sort of comes from this detachment in this world of computers to this paradigm shift to where he realizes that his friends do mean more to him, and human contact means something to him. And we see it in his relationships with the others.
Just think about somebody other than yourself.
I have been. That's why I'm here.
Algorithm refers to two or three things. One is that there is the tracking algorithm that's the centerpiece of the movie, but also that there is an algorithm for an individual, and what the step-by-step process of going from someone who is not really very functional in society to someone who is a contributing member in a beneficial way. What is that process? What kind of catharsis must an individual go through to change?
He's a very difficult character to play because we work on emotion as actors, and to be void of that is fairly difficult, but it's interesting to think that it exists. It eventually comes out, and it eventually shows, and he's almost liberated when he realizes that he has emotion and that it can be expressed to other human beings. He does have emotion, and he just doesn't know it. He eventually realizes it. It exists, but it's been forced to be repressed and laying dormant.
I do what I do for love. Anything else is a form of slavery, a reduction of my humanity, which is why I feel the moral liberty to search through Emergency's network and download all of their recently developed programs.
The case right now is pretty hush-hush. We don't like to talk about it too much, but it's some pretty sophisticated hackers. And we know for a fact that they have access to some pretty darn sensitive databases. It's just a matter of, let's say, persuading these people that it's not really worth their time to stick their noses in every database just because they can, you know what I mean?
I do a series of interrogations with Hash, or Charles Drake, trying to extract information that he may or may not know about his actions. And I'm a little hot-headed, really physical, which was fun. Really, you know, it's all for a good cause. And he really just wants to protect what he loves. And he's looking to, you know, protect Americans, American lives. That's what he cares about. He has this weird relationship with Agent Peterson, but at the same time, he respects him. He wants to be where he's at. He wants his experiences that he's had in his career, good and bad, and he wants to get to that level. But at the same time, he's a little confused on why Peterson behaves and acts and functions the way he does.
Got a new partner for the umpteenth time. His name's Wallace. Good kid, I guess. But green behind the ears, if you know what I mean. Just out of the Marines. But you know, I've seen that all before. They come in here and they think they're gonna save the world, and they think they know everything about terrorists, and they think they're gonna make America safe, and You know what your problem is? You're too serious.
We're fighting terrorism. All right, do you want another 9/11?
Whatever. Someday when you realize how much shit really goes down, you'll relax.
I was sort of taken aback reading the scripts, especially with like the torture scenes and things like that. They're very intense, and it's something that we don't think about in our everyday lives. Like, we know that that happens, but it's not something that, it's sort of like off in the distance. It's sort of like, yeah, that happens, but it doesn't happen here, so I don't have to worry about it, kind of a thing. So I think it can be kind of eye-opening, and it definitely made me think about things a little bit just differently.
I have to know what it does and why they're willing to kidnap people.
Will, whatever it is, it's bad. I know that, it always is. It's going to be something you'll want to forget, but you won't be able to. It will change your worldview, and it will either make you an activist or apathetic. Is that what you want?
Yes.
Are you sure? There's no going back, Will. Not ever.
I need to know.
During the casting process was the strangest part where it began to hit me is that Phil and I had what I referred to as an embarrassment of riches. Just everybody was so good, and the biggest problem we had was deciding chemistry. It wasn't about skill or craft. It was about just, do these people fit together? There were so many good actors to choose from, and just the whole production was like that. The city of San Francisco has been amazing, from the film commission when we consulted them, to the police officers when they showed up on set, to even the water department. Yeah, they were awesome too. They helped us out. The people of San Francisco have been just unbelievable. Not one problem have we run into from the city or the people of the city. And then the locations we got are just blow my mind. Just day after day, beautiful, beautiful places. There's not one place that isn't both emblematic of the city and just staggeringly beautiful.
You know, I think it has a bunch of different messages in it. I don't think it's really just about one thing, because it's not, I think it could be really preachy, but it's not. And I think there's a bunch of different, especially with Decimate thrown in there, you get sort of more than one side of things.
I need your help.
Again?
I'm in trouble.
Warned you about that.
I know, I get it. More than you know.
I doubt that.
It is packed full of themes, messages, social implications. You know, we have to deal with a world that is becoming run by computers. And the fear that humans are gradually losing touch with each other is going to become actually bigger.
Most people have no idea that the world has shifted from traditional forms of power to computers being the dominant force in the world. And they still live in a world where, for instance, kinetic weapons are the most powerful thing, like guns or cannons. But the analogy that I've been using is like, as the lead actor Chris Panzera and I were driving up north, we saw the oil derricks off of the coast of Santa Barbara, and he looked at it and he's like, "Oh, that kind of looks like a pirate ship," and it totally does. And we said, we're not terribly worried about pirates anymore because there's an Air Force base on the coast of California that is basically the West Coast headquarters of the U.S. nuclear arsenal. And we were like, the pirate ship poses no threat to the nuclear weapons. And then I thought that the hackers can take over the nuclear arsenal. The hackers can take over the electrical grid. That's the kind of power that hackers have.
I live by one rule. Information should be free. And everything can be simplified, encoded, and understood as information. You treat computers like you do everything else, like it's an immutable fact of life. And because of that, your worldview is antiquated. Get ready for a serious paradigm shift. The geeks have inherited the Earth. The rest of you just don't know it yet.